Greek leftist leader Alexis Tsipras promised on Sunday that 5 years of austerity, humiliation, and suffering imposed by international creditors were over after his Syriza party swept to victory in a snap election on Sunday. With about 60% of votes counted, Syriza was set to win 149 seats in the 300-seat parliament, with 36.1% of the vote, around 8 points ahead of the conservative New Democracy Party of Prime Minister Antonis Samaras. With the final result may not come for hours, the 40-year-old Tsipras is on course to become Prime Minister of the first Eurozone government openly opposed to the kind of crippling austerity policies which the European Union and International Monetary Fund imposed on Greece as a condition of its bailout. Quote, Greece leaves behind catastrophic austerity. It leaves behind fear and authoritarianism. It leaves behind 5 years of humiliation and anguish, Tsipras told thousands of cheering supporters gathered in Athens. European leaders have said Greece must respect the terms of its 240 billion euro bailout deal, but Tsipras campaigned on a promise to renegotiate the country's huge debt, raising the possibility of a major conflict with Eurozone partners. Tsipras said on Sunday he would cooperate with federal Eurozone leaders for a fair and mutually beneficial solution, but said the Greek people came first. Our priority from the very first day will be to deal with the big wounds left by the crisis, he said. Our foremost priority is that our country and our people regain their lost dignity. Tsipras' campaign slogan, "Hope is coming," resonated with voters worn down by the huge budget cuts and heavy taxes rises during 6 years of crisis that has sent unemployment over 25% and pushed millions into poverty. With Greece's economy unlikely to recover for years, he faces enormous problems, and his victory raises the prospect of tough negotiations with European partners, including German Chancellor Angela Merkel. As thousands of flag-waving supporters hit the streets of Athens, some shedding tears of joy, Germany's Bundesbank warned Greece is needed reform to tackle the economic problems, and the euro fell nearly half a U.S. cent. Tsipras has promised to keep Greece in the euro and has toned down some of his rhetoric, but his arrival in power would mark the biggest challenge to the approaching adopted by the crisis by Eurozone governments. Quote, "We are delighted," said 47-year-old teacher Afa Avgostakau. "We hope our expectations will be fulfilled," she said. "On Monday in class, we're not allowed to comment, to take sides, but we will be smiling." With Greece's bailout deal with the Eurozone due to end in February 28th, Tsipras' immediate challenge will be to settle doubts over the next installment of more than 7 billion euros in international aid. EU finance ministers are due to discuss the issue in Brussels on Monday. Financial markets have been worried a Syriza victory will trigger a new financial crisis in Greece, but the repercussions of the Eurozone are expected to be far smaller than feared the last time Greece went to the polls in 2012. If Syriza ends up short of an absolute majority, Tsipras will have to try to form a coalition with the smaller parties to reach an agreement that would allow it to form a minority government with ad hoc support from others in parliament. Negotiations are likely to begin immediately, and both Panos Kaminos, the leader of the small independent Greeks party, and Stavros Theodorakis, head of the centrist to Potami party, said they would be willing to support an anti-bailout government. If Syriza requires support to govern, it may find itself hostages to the partners' demands, raising questions over how durable a Tsipras government would prove. Standoff with Berlin. Tsipras has promised to renegotiate agreements with the European Commission, European Central Bank, and International Monetary Fund, Troika, and write off much of Greece's 320 billion euro debt, which, at more than 175% of gross domestic product, is the world's second highest after Japan. Coming after the ECB's move to pump billions into the bloc's flagging economy, Sunday's result will stir consternation in Berlin. A senior lawmaker in Merkel's Conservative Party said the result showed Greek voters had turned away from austerity, but he said Europe could not accept rejection of the bailout. Quote, "We must not reward the breaching of agreements," Wolfgang Bosbach told the daily Außenbrecher Zeitung newspaper. That would send completely the wrong signal to other crisis-stricken countries that would then expect the same treatment. As well as renegotiating a debt agreement, Tsipras wants to roll back many of the measures demanded by the Troika, raising the minimum wage, lowering power prices for poor families, cutting property taxes, and reversing pensions and public sector pay cuts. Markets had been jittering in the run-up to the vote, but growing confidence that a deal could be reached has helped ease fears of a return to crisis. U.S. involvement bank J.P. Morgan said the result could weigh on markets, but that it considered speculation over possible Greek exit from the euro was a stretch, and a negotiated deal appeared the most likely outcome. It added, quote, "Our base case remains that Syriza government or a Syriza-dominated coalition would alter its platform to retain Troika financing. Syriza officials have said that they would seek a 6-month truce, putting the bailout program on hold while talks with creditors began. Greece, unable to tap the markets because of sky-high borrowing costs, has enough cash to meet its immediate funding needs for the next couple of months, but it faces around 10 billion euros of debt repayment over the summer."